It's daybreak on Arise News, and it's time for the press preview. First look at what's on the front pages as we get them. All right, let's start with our sister publication, Thursday newspaper. It says INEC shifts governorship state assembly polls by a week to March 18. Let's take the riders there. It says postponement is to ensure adequate time to back up data stored on more than 176,000 beavers used for presidential and NAS elections. Political parties can apply for certified true copies of back-end data of beavers. Appeal court refuses to stop commission from reconfiguring beavers. That's actually what brought about all this. Atiku engages 19 sons to prosecute election petition reclaim mandate. The other day was APC that inaugurated a 12th son. All right, MBA, despite criticisms, 64.6% voters satisfied with presidential National Assembly elections, urges INEC to ensure glitches in Beavers fixed for governorship House of Assembly poll. Apex Muslim body cautions against inciting remarks, lauds INEC's professionalism. Now, just above that, Sonwolu on hashtag enters, I have no control over the military. And then just above the nameplate, FEC Buhari Tinubu Bajabiamila rejoice with Oshibajo, that is the VP at 66th. We must harness our demography, numerical value to make progress, women's role invaluable. These are some stories on this. Of course, you see Peter Obi's picture there with Ireti, the one that beat Aduda to Senate here in Abuja.
In the Punch newspaper, it's leading with that big story as well. INEC shifts governorship assembly paused by 1 week. Commission says despite ruling, 176,000 machines can't be reconfigured before Saturday. The election materials distribution disrupted in Delta, Osun, Bayelsa, Cross River and others. Governor of Lagos State Sanwo-Olu orders probe as Buhari sympathizes with market fire victims in Lagos. Dogua left out as Rep Select get certificates of return. Niger, terrorists kill 5 villagers, abduct 53. Naira, Buhari can be prosecuted after May the 29th. That's according to a senior advocate of Nigeria. Will that ever happen? Companies, consumers' taxes rise 42%. That's according to the National Bureau of Statistics. And long fuel queues ground Abuja and the neighboring states.
That is Punch, right?
Yeah, that's the Punch.
All right, The Guardian. Court orders Beavers reset as INEC shifts Guber polls to March 18th. 48 World Kidney Day, 45,000 Nigerians die yearly due to kidney failure. That is a huge number. My son, Badebo, not Igbo. No link with IPOP, says Rhodes Vivo, the LP candidate in Lagos. 97% of firms in Nigeria others to experience tech skills challenge in 2023. Just some of the stories on the front page of The Guardian.
And in the Sun, Daily Sun, INEC shifts Guber State Assembly polls to March the 18th. The appeal court okays Commission's request to reconfigure the BVAS. It's also given Tinubu a nod to inspect election materials. IPAC Atiku Group endorse Rivers PDP candidate. Confusion as banks issue and reject 500 and 1,000 Naira notes. Well, what's happening with that? Nigeria generated 697 billion Naira, 11% growth from value-added tax in the fourth quarter of 2022. That's according to the Bureau of Statistics. And gunmen attack Imo PDP Assembly candidate, raise houses and vehicles. And the federal government revokes work permit and visa of Seplat chief executive for alleged racism, discrimination against Nigerians.
All right, let's go to international newspapers. The Guardian. Sunak facing a clash with EU on unlawful asylum plans. And then that picture there, you see Gary Lineker, former England player at the Three Lions. He says, "I'll continue to speak up for poor souls with no voice."
This is the Financial Times. Gender gap, women make slow progress. And drive to increase overseas worker numbers to begin with construction.
Newspaper. Sunak small boats bill risks Brexit peace with Europe.
And this is the Independent. Battle of the small boats. Home Secretary's own staff tell her stop the boats plan won't work. It's just empty threats. And Braverman admits up to 80,000 migrants could make Channel crossing this year. Well, the French President Emmanuel Macron says he'll charge UK millions every year to stem the tide of illegal migration.
All right, let's welcome Emmanuel Bello to this morning's Daybreak on Arise News. Emmanuel, glad to have you this morning.
Good morning.
All right, we look at this day. Some stories just jump at you. Of course, the biggest of them: INEC shifts governorship polls by a week to March the 18th due to the reconfiguration they have to do. But there also you have Atiku with about 19 senior advocates of Nigeria to prosecute election petition and reclaim his mandate, according to him. And then the MBA saying that 64.6% voters satisfied with presidential National Assembly elections. And of course, you can take out the Tinubu on International Women's Day, saying that women's role invaluable.
Yeah, and that's a good one. It's good that we play that up because yesterday was International Women's Day. So Tinubu is saying that, look, their role is invaluable. I think all the campaigns were trying to say something nice about women, but how they translate those nice words now into, creating better opportunities for women, expanding their participation, ensuring that women get what they should be given, and all of that. And of course, like the theme of the International Day itself, equality. The thing about breaking glass ceilings around women and all that is translating all of that thing into some practical move for the women that will actually make sense for women, and not just empty talk from politicians who just try to appeal to a demography. It's a strong demography, like 60%, but the voting strength. A lot of people say it's the women folks. So 24 hours later, it's a good thing that yes, those politicians are talking about it, or the women. But the big story of the day is the one that you have it all over the papers. It's a case of you pick one newspaper today and you've read it all of all the story. But this day, leading boldly with that clearly is just about sum it up. What's happening? It's a shift, 1 week shift. Because of those situations. Yesterday it started like a rumor. It was on the socials. A lot of people thought it's not possible. Then suddenly, credible medium were also reporting it. And then INEC itself came out. And the story was that after a lot of brainstorming around the issue, they took that. So the jury is out there. What is happening? Does this say something about INEC preparedness? Does he speak to the fact that INEC wants to? Some people say Professor Mahmoud is going for redemption, second chance to ensure that at least the next week elections do not look anyway like what a lot of people are talking about. Of course, the jury is out on that election too. NBA in the Disney report saying that 60% mark, not too bad. 64. Well, yeah, that 64% Nigerians approved of the elections, but we've seen all-round condemnation in various quarters of this election. Perhaps the INEC boss is mindful of that, or perhaps it's just technical issues. Whatever it is, a lot of conversation will be around this issue going forward. What does it mean for the voters? What does it mean for the candidates? What does it mean for the campaigns? What does it mean for funding? Some of these campaigns were already done, campaigning around, just ready for the elections, want to go into the polls, and then you have this. But others, of course, will tell you that it gives them more time to do more campaigns, to spend more on adverts and all of that. So those are the sort of implications that this throws up, and of course the conversation will be around these issues.
Yes, lots of people were really gingered for this weekend, but more campaigns.
Some have even traveled.
Yeah, so
The wind's been taking off their sails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some have actually traveled. Some are on their way. They will be going today or tomorrow. I've spoken to a whole lot of people who had traveling plans for,
because politics
for
is local.
Yes. Some this election itself, especially the governorship election, is generating a lot of excitement, just like the presidential election. A lot of people wanting to cast their vote, and so some people have even made early preparation to travel. This is bound to change all of that.
In fact, this one is generating more because of the things that the presidential elections threw up, while some governors, Ugwuanyi of Enugu State, Bagudu of Kebbi State, Lalong, the DG of the APC
losing his
campaign lost,
yes,
and some other people, lost their elections that you would think would never lose elections. So
yeah, Imran. So let me put that together. Following what Ndi has just brought up, now will these developments and this shift in the date, will it likely lead to a change in the outcome of the governorship election next week, Saturday? Now let's look at a few states that come to mind: Lagos, Taraba, and the southeast.
No, well, a lot of people have made up their minds already on who to vote. Of course, there's a likelihood that you have those undecided voters who are still waiting for certain developments around the campaigns or around the candidates or even around the policies that they want to vote for. But from all indication, a lot of people were already ready. They've decided who they want to vote for. They've decided which campaigns they want. Which of the parties they were going to throw their weight behind. Well, what this has done, this break, is to either strengthen that resolve, make them plan more for it, and but it doesn't take away the core value of or the core theme, the core decision of their convictions on what to do. But for the campaign, certainly this gives them a lot of time to win more souls, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they will probably tie up some loose ends. Certainly spend more money on campaign funding for adverts and all of that, and try to do more town halls probably. That the INEC itself say that campaigns will continue, so it gives them, smart campaigns will take advantage of this to do a whole lot of things, maybe convince more voters, maybe try to get more people, but it doesn't really shift the outcome. In some states, it was very clear where the directions were going, looking at the level of endorsements and the sort of campaigns that were done in those states. You get a clear picture where the state was going. And then, to what Indy was saying, the outcome of the presidential election, more than any other thing, is what is fueling whatever is going to happen at the governorship race, with a lot of people saying that for the INEC, it's an opportunity for them to get that election right. They are getting some 60% now, 64% ratings for the presidential election. Some people will say it's less than that, Indy, but it's in the governorship elections that a lot of people are expecting that INEC should do the right thing. Probably this shift is their own way of saying that, look, hey, want to just get it right and want to get it right for once. I don't think Professor Mahmoud can stand more criticism around the conduct of the state elections. He's gone through a lot already with the presidential election, with all sort of knocks from various quarters. He probably is running for rooting for trying to get redemption in this one, and that's why they're trying to say, look, we need 1 week to get everything right. The other question is to ask whether 1 week is even enough for them to be able to do those machines, over 170 of those machines, to reconfigure, to download and to upload more data. Well, that is in the realm of ICT. But again, maybe those are the challenges that this whole election season cycle has thrown up. The issue of scientific election. We want to go scientific, and now we're facing serious problem around the issue of science, machines, technology, and the rest. It's an irony because we employed, or we spent so much on this so that we don't even have these problems at all. But sadly, we're face to face with the kind of problems that we didn't even have when we're just analog, or when we're using manual methods. These problems are enormous. But for the INEC, it's crunch time, and they just want to get it right.
Yeah, tech also throws up its own challenges, especially if you're not versed in its usage or not prepared ahead of time. There's this story that's quite interesting and mind-boggling. Confusion as banks reject 500 1,000 naira notes. Nigeria generated, okay, well, let's just talk about that. Emmanuel, I mean, it's funny.
Yes, it's funny, but it's disgraceful too, because, I mean, I wonder, the international community, like we call them, it's watching, and it's strange. We're not even getting our monetary policies right, and there's this disconnect, between the Supreme Court on one hand, the CBN saying one thing, the flip-flop, the back and forth, and the banks on the other hand. And in the midst of all this is you and I, who don't have any means of, dealing with our normal life. So it's quite, you say funny indeed, but I think it's also heartbreaking, and it's embarrassing, and it's frustrating too. It's some people that you don't know what to do. You can't even get to work. You can't do anything. On top of that is the fuel crisis itself. Just outside here, the long lines are back again.
It was left there yesterday.
Yes.
So they did say it would linger for a while.
We were told yesterday, yes, we did a story here, the independent marketers saying that we have to just put up with it. So either way you see it, whether it is the election, the frustration around these elections, or Nigerians are actually very, they try to cope with everything, use humor, use everything, just try to humorize everything. But there must be a breaking point somewhere. I mean, how much and how long can we take this? How do we even live our lives going forward? So these are some of the sort of thing that you hear everyone talking, and there's bitterness, there's anger, there's frustration. And then on top of that, you have this, a lot of people wanted to just get over these elections and then try to fix their life, and then they had this 1 week to wait again. And while we're waiting, you have all those cash issues to deal with. It's such, any other country could have, I don't know, by now gone into flames and all of that. But maybe the resilience, maybe this is testing the popular resilience of the Nigerian people, the fact that we can take anything and just roll with the punches. But we are really, really under these punches, and I think if somebody is listening, something has to be done about it. At least one of the problems should be solved. If it's not the fuel, the cash crisis should be solved. Yes, if you can't solve that, do something about the cash. If you can't do something about the cash, then let us even get the elections right, because it's a tripartite problem. We have those electoral crises to deal with. Nigerians, then you have the cash problem, then you have the fuel problem.
Now it's not double whammy, Ken.
It's triple.
And it's triple. It's not funny, but I mean...
No, maybe we just have to laugh through the storm and see what we can do. But it's these end games are really, really getting to a tipping point for everyone.
Yeah.
We'll say there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that's the only way to look at it.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bello. That's the press preview. Let's hear from you. You can tweet at us at Arise TV. We'll be back shortly. Stay.